The engines on the island of Sodor love it when special events happen. A very famous magician was coming to the island of Sodor. He was going to do a magic show for all the engines. One morning, the Fat Controller came to see the engines. The famous magician needs to find a perfect place so he can do his magic show. I need an engine to show him around. Do I have any volunteers? Me, said Thomas before James, Gordon and Henry were about to say it. Then that's settled then, said the Fat Controller. He's waiting at Knapford Station platform. Yes, sir, I'll be on my way, said Thomas, and then Thomas went to meet the magician. Thomas finally reached the platform of Knapford Station. By the time he did, the magician was waiting. Climb on board, said Thomas, and I'll take you to a perfect place where you can do your magic show. Thank you, said the magician. The magician climbed on board Thomas, and then they set off. Thomas hadn't gone far. The first stop was Elsbridge Station. This is Elsbridge Station, said Thomas, although it's not much, but it's very nice around here. What do you think? The magician looked out. He was not very impressed. Everywhere all around him he saw nothing but engines. Nope, said the magician. I'm afraid not. It's too small and quiet, and not many engines will be able to come. Just then, Duncan arrived. Is that the famous magician? Said Duncan. Is he going to do a magic trick for me? Thomas really wanted to see a magic trick, but the magician was really desperate to leave. I'm afraid not, Duncan, said Thomas. We've got to go now. And then Thomas puffed away. Next, they came to the quarry. This is the quarry, said Thomas. It's very roomy round here. What do you think? The magician went to look all around. No, said the magician. It's too noisy and dusty. This looks interesting, whispered Mavis. It's the famous magician, said Bill. Is he going to do a magic trick for us in the quarry? Asked Ben to Thomas. No, Ben, said Thomas. He's not. And then Thomas puffed away. Next, they came to an old iron bridge. This is a perfect view up here. You'll be able to see lots of engines. It's very nice, said the magician. But you see, not many engines will be able to see me properly. Neville was passing by when he saw the magician. Do us a magic trick, he begged. Sorry, Neville, replied Thomas. He can't. Then Thomas puffed away. Next, they came to a fitter's yard. This is a nice place, said Thomas. The magician looked out. There's no vaguely anyone there, he said. And besides, it's too small as well. Dennis and Oliver really wanted to see a magic trick, but Thomas was already gone. Next, they came to Brendam Docks. There's lots and lots of tracks round here, said Thomas. What do you think? The magician went to look round. It's the famous magician, said Cranky. Then there was trouble. Just before the magician was about to complain, a gutch of wind came up, and then it blew the magician's hat right into the air and landed on a piece of track. Then they heard a loud whistle. It was Emily. She was pulling a long train of empty trucks. Now Thomas was very worried. If Emily saw the hat in time, she might not stop. She might squash it. But quickly, the magician came up and shouted, "Stop!" Emily saw the hat. His driver applied his brakes just in time. But she stopped so suddenly, but the trucks fell right off the tracks. But nor his driver, her driver, or fireman were that bothered. Emily's driver and fireman picked up the hat, and then they took it back to the magician. Finally, they arrived. Emily's driver gave the magician's hat back. "Thank you," he said, then turned to Thomas. "As I was about to say, Thomas, this is a perfect place to do a magic show. I'll do it here." Thomas was excited. Later that evening, all the engines came round to the harbour. The magician waved his magic wand, and then he suddenly made a little bunny rabbit appear out of Thomas's funnel. All the engines gasped. "This is specially for you, Thomas," said the magician. "It's to say thank you for showing me round the island." "And you really are a useful engine, Thomas," said the Fat Controller. "Thank you, sir," said Thomas proudly, and then he whistled along, and so did all the engines.